Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, I feel like we never get to talk. We have all these things that are backlogged.
I know. So before we introduce our guest, we have to say what we've been talking about before we started recording, which was a person who we love. And Amy, I'll be anxious to see if you watched finally the Martha Stewart documentary came out.
I haven't. No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, it is so good. And you know, I didn't realize that she was the first female self-made billionaire in the country.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I love it when people win. That's a big win.
Me too. Yes. Yeah. So Linda, we'll have to talk about her on our next one when we catch up, but I'm super excited for our guest today. We have Amy Stockberger. I just met her last week in Miami at the BOR event. Amy did a presentation and I was like, oh my gosh, we have to have her on the podcast. It was so good. So Amy, welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, ladies. I'm honored to be here. And it was a blast meeting you too. And I love that we get to visit again after meeting so soon.
I know. Me too. Well, Linda always kicks us off with kind of one of the same questions every episode, and then we'll get into some nitty gritty. But Linda, you want to go for it?
Yeah. So Amy, you were born and then what happened? Bring us to today.
Well, I was born and God led me to the path I'm on. But I was born in our area market, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, actually about 20 miles north or south of here, and got into real estate actually right out of college. My dad owned a condo banker at the time, and he did what I call the opposite of nepotism is he hired me, paid me $24,000 and put me in a dark, dank back room of his office and said, sink or swim, here's everything you have to do. And I fell in love with it, kind of from the back end of it to the front of it. And he was very instrumental in my growth, because when I decided I wanted to get licensed, he said exactly what you say to a child who's a firstborn. Says it's too hard, you can't do it. You can't. It's too hard. It costs so much money. It's cutthroat. You know, I just don't think it's the cloth for you. And I was like, okay, hold my beer. Here I go. So he was the best thing for me. So I became a buyer's agent for a hot second. Then I became a single agent. And quickly got my sister license and got a part-time assistant and started growing a team. And I got licensed in 2002, got in the business about 2000. In 2009, my husband joined, left the banking world, came over. And then in 2014, I found a major hole in my business that I had to solve with my serve, sell approach that we're going to talk about. And then it's been just growing since then. It's been an absolute blast. We're now a brokerage that runs as a team. So we're a team-a-ridge. So we still run as that. We have been the highest producing team in our market since 2017. We're ranked in the top 50 in the United States. And we have built a lifetime home support model where we don't have past clients. We have clients for life.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear all about this.
Oh, I know, Linda, you're going to love it. It's me right up your alley. And so many of our listeners, any listener that is in real estate, which is probably what 90% of our audience now, Amy. I mean, I just couldn't write down fast enough when you were talking. So I want you to kind of take it, but I just want to point out a couple things. One, you guys have, I think you said 10% market share in your town, right? Which is huge. I mean, incredible.
Yeah, we've had, and we're a small market too. You know, we're in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So we're about 275,000, maybe our whole metro area, and we're a smaller team too. I have 20 some agents, and so my agents are good producers, and our program takes care of the client experience before, during, and forever. So we're able to turn one client into 5 clients by simply taking care of them through all their home ownership and human experience needs. And that's really been the game changer for us. And I really feel that our industry is in the situation it is because we haven't been focused on the consumers as much as we should be, and taking care of all of their human existent journey.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like? That's different than what, the average person would do real estate. Tell me what the differences are.
Yeah. So when you buy or sell with Amy Stockberger Real Estate, you get access to our VIP club, and that gives you access to our moving trucks. It gets access to a party shed. You get access to every tool you're going to need for all your home ownership and human experience existence. So if you think tables and chairs, commercial grade food warmers, cotton candy, snow cone, popcorn machines, bouncy houses for all the party needs. And then for your tools, think of all the stages of home ownership, from ladders to wheelbarrows to commercial grade paint sprayers, all those things they need to maintain and take care of their house so they don't have deferred maintenance. They can come get for free for life from us. And so it just keeps us in front of them in a service first way. Yep. Oh, can you hear me?
I'm glitching a little bit, so I'm not meaning to interrupt you, but I think when you paused, I thought you were going, okay, that I want you to pause there, because that was one of the things I took away that I thought was so impactful, that I was texting some of my mega agents and I'm like, this is what, so you buy all that stuff, your team does, you guys logo it up, and then anybody that's a client of yours, they can use it at any time, right? Like the bouncy houses, I thought, how many times have I rented a bouncy house for a birthday party for the kids or for my nephew or whoever? And I mean, I just think that that's genius, because they're attached to you for everything.
Right. And like, it's them. Our brand isn't just real estate. Our brand is taking care of all of their needs. And that's really, I feel, where well, maybe to go back real quick, like in 2014, when I found this major hole in my business, which I also found was a major hole in our industry, is that I was like killing it on the before and during part of it. We were doing so good because we were so systemized and that people were so happy. But no matter how well I was doing and taking care of them, they would get to the after, and for whatever reason, we just weren't getting that repeat and referral business. It blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, they were so happy. Why would they forget about me? What do you mean a newsletter isn't taking care of that? No way. You know what I mean? Like the billboard of me is not taking care of that. Come on. I mean, I'm like, there has to be something else that I can offer them. And at the same time, because we all know that our sphere is our biggest lead source forever and always, right? And so like, how could I continue to love on my sphere at every stage of their human existence that was meaningful for them, that I could also have a lot of brand awareness in? Because like Dana said, I branded every piece of equipment. So when they have all this equipment and these parties that they're throwing, it's my name. They're not having parties by themselves. Our name is everywhere. And so it just makes us so sticky, and in really good times in our clients' life, and sometimes really sad times. Like I've had, funerals where they've come and got all my tables and chairs to host a big funeral, and all my stuff's there. So we're helping them in all these big milestones of their journey, and they're from a service first perspective. And it's just like, you're serving people's wants, needs, and desires in front of your own. That's authentic, and the sales do follow after that. And that's just really what I wanted to build my business on. And it turns out it works.
You said one of the things in the Miami event, you said serve up more sizzle, that sometimes people can run out of ways to be authentically connected. And I thought that was so good, because you are authentically connecting with them in all those things that are happening in their life when they're reaching out to you to use that. I just think it's so smart.
Thank you. And we, Brian, the co-founder of 1000 Watt, this is his
we had him.
Oh,
yeah, he's great.
He's brilliant. Like one of his quotes, I'm going to mess this up a little bit, but he's like, every portal lead is some other agent's past client. And that's what it is, right? And so if we're not doing a good job of taking care of our clients past the transaction, we don't deserve to keep them, because there's so much, because the before and during is a really big part of the transaction. But man, that after part, that part where they're actually living their life, if you're not providing value there, you're just not going to stay in their brain.
So true. So do you reach out to them ever so often and remind them of all the things you have? How do they know what you have that they might need?
It's everywhere in our business model. So we started, like I said, in 2014. The idea really got wheels on it in 15, but it lives in it's the hook for my agents. It's a hook for our calls, for our onboarding of our buyers, onboarding of our sellers. It's in every presentation that here's, not only are we the experts at connecting buyers and sellers, but here's how we do things very differently with our lifetime home support model, where we have a system and strategy for every step of the home buying and selling process, before, during, and forever. And then we're showing them, here's what you get by being our client for life. So it's giving them, from the very beginning, all the access to what they get. And then we also built software for it so that it can stay in front of them. But then it lives in every nurture sequence until into eternity, on everything that we offer. So they know that at every corner of their home support, or we are their home support team, that we're their resource they go to first. And then we built it up from there, the home support team partners, or the vendor program, from that part. But the first part we laid out was that VIP club, laid out that all those pillars of the moving truck party tool. We have an online discount center where they save $5,300 a year from national brands. Again, that just gets sent out to them automatically from me. So it's just another way that we're providing that authentic service to them. And then we kicked it up a little bit, because we know, I talked a little bit about this at the 4 event, but the real estate agents are super connectors.
Yeah.
That's what their job is. We connect buyers and sellers, but we connect them with everything else they need in their entire journey. So they come to us for wanting to know who they should use for an electrician, who they should use for HVAC, who they should get for lawn care. And so I decided to not only put that on steroids as far as helping my clients, but also to monetize that. And so we monetize that on a pretty high level. And then we also lead generate it on a pretty high level, because I think that's where agents forget that their job is to make sure everybody in their sphere knows what they do, what problem they solve, and how they solve it to their unique audience. And so that's what we did with that next level.
So how do you monetize it?
So my vendors pay us $3,500 a year to be a part of the program. We have a little over 100 partners in our program. And so they get from us support on growing their sales. We do marketing for them. We help them with their B2B leverage. We help them with some self-development. And then I packaged up all of my programs into an employee benefit package that they give to their employees so that they're a more attractive place to work.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And then they take care of my clients for life, which allows my agents to easily become of lifetime value to their clients, because they have something to say to them authentically of service. No matter what time of year it is, we have a partner that their clients are likely going to need.
Yeah.
We have, they have an event that they're likely going to need, like our software, that sizzle part that I talked about at 4, to go back to that. Like anytime a piece of our equipment is checked out, my agents get a notification, so they can call their clients, reach out to their clients, say, hey, looks like you just, booked out. I said it for the margarita machine. Here's my favorite recipe. Here, this is what you can use it with. So they're always finding ways to be of value. Or, hey, we just brought in a new spa for our home support team partners. Did you see that there's gift cards for 20% off for Santa stocking stuffers? Just different things that are helping them stay connected without selling.
Yeah.
So good. So good.
So do the vendors' employees get to use it too? Is that what you said, their employee package?
As far as our VIP, they get to use the employee benefit package is of different parts of my lifetime home support model. The employers get to use all of my VIP equipment for like their client events, for their employee events.
Okay.
Yep. So we have it out there. And again, I want that. I want my brand everywhere. So I want them to bring it out. Like we had Glass Doctors in our market. When we first onboarded them, they had a huge, like 200-person event for their customers in their parking lot with all of my stuff. I'm like, okay, that other people seeing my stuff all the time. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Love it.
Well, Linda, one of the things that I loved about Amy and what she's doing with this is it reminds me of what Gary Keller always says. Anytime that there's a shift in the market, there will be agents who will gain market share that they'll never lose, but then there'll be other agents that'll lose market share that they'll never get back. And Amy, you're just continuing to gain the market share. And I feel like so many agents now are just over complicating it. It's like they're so worried about that next transaction or like the next closing or the next, instead of, you just said it, but with your vendor program, you're 350 grand in before you've even sold a house because you are being a profitable super connector.
Right.
And then it's like, that just gives you more resources. And I'm not downplaying that wasn't probably a crap ton of work to put together, but it's like, I just feel like they're overcomplicating being a super connector and bringing value to their clients.
Yeah.
Right. And because the agents don't mean to lose contact, but they just don't have that authentic way to stay connected on that. And then to figure out how to lead gen that. I feel like, maybe you guys tell me your experience on this, but I feel like agents, if they can't communicate effectively how they solve, because we all know solving a problem is how you scale a business, right? It's how you become, of a resource that matters to their wants and needs and desires. Yeah. But if you can't articulately communicate that on how you solve a problem in a very unique way to your audience, you're leaving so many possibilities of opportunities on the table of who you serve, because they don't even know then who they can refer you to if you can't articulate that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And this solves so many things. It gives them a reason to communicate with the people. It creates beholdenness and reciprocity because you're always giving to those people. And so they're constantly going to be thinking, how do I give something back to Amy and her team? That's so nice of them, right? So how do you decide what you're going to buy and put in your repertoire?
Well, we have a PhD in failing forward, like I said, so we figured out what not to put in there because we did all the things to begin with. But I started the whole program off really for a very cheap. Like I took a ton of tools out of my husband's garage that he wasn't using. Then I put just a bunch of party tools in there that I started out that were the wrong ones, and we found the right ones to use. So we have a full, system on showing agents how to do this for their business too. But because we know what's rented the most, we know what's used the most, and what I always call them the gateway drugs. What piece of equipment is the gateway drug to the next one? Those are the ones that they get, so that the tables and chairs, like we can't have enough of those. People do not like to rent those things, and they have my name all over the back of them.
It's expensive to rent those.
Yeah,
it is, and it's so needed. We just have so many parts of our life where we need them. Graduations, reunions, even people who are doing just their little parties in the summers and get-togethers. It's needed.
So cool. Dana, Russell Rhodes has done this for years at a super high level and been successful year after year after year. So this is something that is not that, for most people, they're going to think, oh my gosh, I don't have the money to buy all that stuff. But you just start out small, I'm sure. You start out a little piece here and there and keep adding to it.
You could easily start this out for $3,000 or under, and then you just add to it. And think about it, but pick your hard. There's a hard with everything, right? Pick your hard. Is your hard going to be buying portal leads that you're not going to convert, that are going to be really hard to work with, that aren't coming to you drinking the Kool-Aid? Are you going to pick your hard and build something that's taking care of your current and your forever clients, where they're going to naturally have that law of reciprocity go into effect, which is what happens is they just give us that repeat and referral business because they're getting so much for us. So, that's one thing too, I think agents need to really think about is, what is your ROI on what you're spending money on? Yeah. And does it serve you in more than one way? Is it multifunctional? Does it serve you in more than, does it give you brand awareness as well as a give back to the community? Does it, what else besides serving your clients for life? What else is that ad spend or that expense, that cost center doing for you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Amy, one of you actually just walked, because I don't think, Linda, I don't know if I shared this with you, but actually in Miami, Amy, you said the law of reciprocity like probably 4 or 5 times in your talk, and Linda talks about that all the time. So Linda, you just said that, and Amy talked about that. But one of the things you shared was, and I could have had these numbers wrong, but so correct me, but you guys will end this year somewhere around, was it 4 million GCI, around close to 600 houses, and you run about a 48% profit margin ish. Is that all about close?
Yeah, this year we don't have that many units because our whole market's down like 22%. We're up like around 8% year over year, but we'll end this year right around 400 units. But it's about 4 million GCIs where we'll end up at, and we have over about 48% in our profitability with all of our systems. because
well, that's the number I wanted you to touch on, because that's a great profit margin. And we don't often find that teams run close to that. So I wanted to see any advice or tips that you could give those listening who maybe aren't running at those margins.
Well, I believe in this wholeheartedly. The steal from Amazon. It's like one of my things I talk about all the time is steal their brilliant concept of changing all of your cost centers, or as many as you possibly can, into profit centers, figuring out how to take your expenses and having somebody else pay for them, and then cash flow above that. And Amazon has just been really good. I mean, every big, like Henry Ford used to do it. He used to demand that his people who sent him his parts, sent him in box in crates of a certain size, so he could take the crates and turn them into dashboards. And then he could, from the dashboards, then he could use the rest of it for fuel, for coal.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, smart businesses have done it forever and ever. Yep. It's just, I don't think that we're really taught that we should be taking our expenses, because profit margins are tough in our industry. They just are. Everybody thinks that agents make so much money, but there's tight margins. And so if you can find a way to have somebody else pay for those expenses, and then again, change them into multifaceted, ways to use them. So like my example I give a lot is my moving truck and all my VIP equipment, but my moving truck, that spend, I sold space on the back of it to vendors. Vendors paid for it. We cash flow on those moving trucks. We don't pay for the moving trucks, but it's also a brand awareness piece. It's a billboard on wheels. It's also a client for life piece, that they get to use it for life by buying or selling one time. And it's also a really lovely community give back. We give it back to our community, uplifting our community, which is a brand awareness piece, but it also leverages us as that brokerage, that team of choice to those organizations as we do that. And so just thinking about how you can different, especially right now, like we're in a wrinkle of time in two ways right now, specifically a wrinkle in time, just where we're at with the NAR, lawsuit, the aftermath of all that clearly the consumer has said, we need more value. There's a lack of perceived value. And so we need more value is what they're screaming or have screamed. Right. Also right now, in the months we're in right now, what a great time to look at your business really critically as you're planning for 2025 and look at your source codes of what brought in the most amount of transactions last year. Where are those numbers at? What can you cut? Because a lot of times we as business owners and entrepreneurs, we always think we have to add, but where do you need to cut? What do we need to cut that you think is working? Maybe because it's an ego thing, you think it's working, or maybe it's just something you've always done or you've been told it always does that just isn't working. Cut that out, get it out of your business and shift into something that is providing massive value for the consumer and that somebody else can help you pay for.
Yeah. Love it. So smart.
So do you treat your vendor income as just other income, or do you count that in your, how do you do that? Do you keep it separate and it pays for some of the equipment? Or is it just
it's other income? We actually have the VIP club it's a whole LLC separate underneath our umbrella. So it's just, and we do that for tax reasons because it's a loss leader. It just is. So we buy expenses out of it, and then it helps offset other things for us. It works for our tax situation. Yeah. And that's, as I teach agents how to do this nationwide, oh, my dog's in here. I tell them how to do it that way too, just to take it, I put it underneath another LLC on that side of it so that you're covered.
So you don't charge for the VIP. It's just,
Nope.
you offset it against the income you're making from GCI.
Yep.
Makes sense.
And the VIP club itself is so inexpensive. Cooper, my dog's laying on
my dog's down here too. So if yours starts to make a noise,
he's laying on my camera.
It's moving.
Okay, there we go. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I love it. Amy, okay, a couple last questions, and Linda, if you have anything too, but I just love how your brain works. What are you reading right now? What are you learning? What are some things lately that you think are great that we could learn from too, or read? We're big learners.
Well, I went back and I just started reading Go Giver's Sell More. The whole thing started for me when I read the Go Giver book. So I'm reading the green one, the Go Giver's Sell More. I've also just got done reading Category Pirates, Christopher Lockhead. He has a really great quote that I love. He says that if your profit center, or if your profit model is only based on transactions and not on lifetime value, you'll always be looking over your shoulder for your clients, looking for a younger, more attractive you.
Gosh,
Love that. Wait, what book is that? What was that one from again?
He wrote Category Pirates.
Okay.
And but such a sexy and like impactful quote that a younger, more attractive you. Yikes. Yeah,
that sounds awful.
That's awful.
That's horrible.
Yeah, right. Unless we're looking at lifetime value, and I just don't feel like that's one thing that we're taught either, is like to really monetize. What does that lifetime value of a client look like for you? Like what is, and I want to come with sincere, authentic service, but I also, you have to think about like, what is one client worth for your career? And then what happens if you take that one client, turn every one client into 5 clients? What does that look like? Yeah. And then when you're planning out your year and your lead pillars, what if you did turn your business model to taking care of clients for life? What would that mean for you? And how could that change your business?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. So true. That's awesome.
I've never read that book. Have you read that, Linda?
Well, it looks like the Category Pirates is the person that wrote it, right? Is it 22 Laws of Category Design?
Yep.
So I guess that's just a authorship name that they've picked, or is that really their name?
Yeah, and Christopher Lochhead is the one who is the quote on that part of it. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
It's not often that there's a book that we haven't read, or so I'm like, I love when I get a new book.
Isn't sitting on our bookshelf somewhere. I'm in Ohio today, so I don't have a bookshelf, but a bookshelf that's not sitting there waiting to be read.
Yeah.
So I have one final question for you, Amy. Who do you know that Dana and I should know?
That is a good question. Let me think about that.
Do
you guys follow Byron Lazine at all with BAM?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he does a really great hot sheet every morning. He's pretty tuned into the national market, and he's a smart dude, and has a real pulse of where our industry is going and follows it, and really gives out some great knowledge to help. He's big on being an agent of change too, being the knowledge broker and being the agent of change in our industry. And so, yeah, he's amazing.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, we'll have to go follow him. Well, wait, I do have one more question now. What is your pulse on all the changes? Just quickly, like, how are you guys experiencing a lot?
No, our markets, we're in South Dakota. We've been a pretty, slow market, 23, 24. Just, again, we're a pretty conservative area where people are just kind of sitting and waiting. Consumer confidence has been a little bit low. It's been more of the focusing on the have tos and, the want to still kind of sitting. My prediction, I do think that 25, we're going to see some agents not renew. I just think that that's going to happen. 23 and 24, we're tough nationally. And so I do think that number is going to go back. And would it be beautiful if we were all just, the same as like a wealth advisor and we were advisors for our clients, and all of a sudden that number went from 1.5 million down to 750,000. I don't know. What does that look like, nationwide? And the ones who are here to serve authentically are the ones who are going to last. That would be, I think that would change our industry. My vision is to change our industry into a community of servapreneurs who elevate that client experience before, during, and forever. And I do feel like if we do that, then agents can build these businesses they love and then build a healthy exit strategy. Because that's the other thing I don't think we're taught well, is how to build a healthy exit strategy in this industry. Like, what does that look like for everybody? Yeah.
So what is your exit strategy, Amy?
Well, to continue what we're doing, because I do know a system-centric, relationship-based business is worth 50 to 100% more than non. And one with multiple streams of income is, worth 30%, or we're 30% more attractive. I'll always have an operation here. I love Sioux Falls. I love my people. I love my community. So we'll always be operating. I don't actively sell as much as I used to. I cherry pick some of my past clients. I don't know if I'll sell probably at all in 25, to be honest, anything. And we'll just probably be preaching the word of servaprenneurship for the rest of my career.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Okay.
Thank you,
that word.
Love it. So good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Amy. Wow, that was great.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Linda. Thanks for Dana.
Our pleasure. Remember, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And the greatest compliment you can pass along to Dana and I is to pass this podcast out to anyone that you think would enjoy these conversations. If you have a comment, a question, a challenge, or an opportunity, or a guest that you think would be good on our podcast, be sure and reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. Dana, I guess I'll see you next week. And Amy, I hope to meet you in person soon.
Me too.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.